Hello YouTube, just a boarder, and Happy New Year to all of you. Happy 2026. And here we are, the first video of the new year. And today we take a look at the deluxe class Quintus Prime from Transformers Age of the Primes. So, out of the box, you get the following. You got Quintus Prime himself and his artifact, the Ember Stone. So let's take a quick look at the Ember Stone right now, because really, it's just a piece of, yellow clear plastic. Nice detailing on it, and of course, with detail, here is Quintus Prime's insignia right there, which looks like a bug if you look at it. So yeah. So that's the Ember Stone itself, and nothing much to it. And of course, just like any of the 13 Primes, or part of 13, the name of the artifact is written in ancient Autobot or Cybertronian. Of course, this says the Ember Stone. So there you go. And by the way, we can actually focus in on Quintus Prime. So here is his vehicle mode. Basically, it's very much a space squid, a squid ship or something like that. Which, if you look at it from a different perspective like this, it's a ship. But if you look at it from this, you look at it vertically, horizontally, it's a ship. But if you look at it vertically, it's a squid. So yeah, with all these tentacles, which this all makes sense once we get to the transformation into, the robot mode. But we'll see, the tentacles do have nice detailing. So, again, I do appreciate the detailing that Hasbro put in with all the tentacles with the, And even, I think, these little markings on here, this might be Cybertronian, but it's kind of undecipherable on it. Unless there's some artwork for Quintus Prime. Of course, there he does have a cockpit, which, by the way, this is the only place where you can store the Ember Stone, which is in this cockpit here. So, you can't, you have to put the Ember Stone there. Which, now I want to let me bring a Prime Master out, a Prime Master figure. Which, now to answer your question, no, I do not own the Quintus Prime Master from that Power of the Primes toy line, which I don't have. But maybe we can try and squeeze in a Prime Master. Maybe I'll put in this one here. Yeah, you could stand in it, but can you fit when he's standing up, when he's sitting? No, you can't. So, just to answer your question, no, he does not fit. None of the Prime Masters nor Titan Masters do not fit in the cockpit. Only the Ember Stones. So, I just want to point that out. So, let's go ahead and put this in. Push that. Now, if you want to push it out, basically you get to push this bit here with your finger. And there you go. That's how you get it out. So, there we go. Of course, got some nice green here, mix of green, light lime green with some metallic purple paint. And of course, we got some too for the what we call the chest. And of course, yeah, there's his face right there. So yeah, and of course, got these extra appendages, these extra tentacles, which function as landing gear. And yeah, not much. There's no gimmicks to this vehicle other than just putting the Ember Stone in there. So yeah. With that out of the way, let's take a look at the transformation into robot mode. Alright, let's start with the transformation, and it's pretty simple, really. It's not complicated. So, we're going to start with the back here. You're going to open these tentacles out of the way. You can see that, what we can tell, becomes the feet. You're going to flip these out, fold these down like this, and fold this one down here like this. You're going to flip out what will become the feet. And they come to the back of the legs, and you can see these panels right here, which you untab them. Yeah, just untab them and fold them down like this, which will fill in this gap here. There we go, just like that. And then when you're done, you can fold the skirt pieces down. And then from here, you're going to twist the top part like this. So that is it for the legs. Okay, let me, I'll do this off camera. I'll fix the legs off camera. Alright, so I got the legs fixed. Let's get on to the upper torso. So we're going to come here. What was the landing gear of the vehicle mode? Just going to swing these down and just swing them out of the way like this. So just like that. Then we'll come up to the top here and split it in half like this and fold these out to the side. We'll do one arm at a time. So twist the arm like this, and then come under here and swing this back. This will tab into place like that. Twist the form, and there you go. And to answer your question, no, you do not need to rotate the fists to fit this into here. You don't need to do that. Just leave the fists as they are. So, because we do the same on the other side. There we go. Now snap it in place. And then last but not least, fold the head forward. And there you have Quintus Prime in robot mode. And here's Quintus Prime in robot mode. So let's take a closer look. You can see, this is a pretty cool design. And basically, he's designed. Hasbro got the design from the Align continuity. If you look at the head design as well, basically from the Covenant of Primus, which is part of the Aligned continuity. So that's what the design they're going for. So again, the head design's nice, and yes, he does have light piping right on the back here. So of course he does have 6 eyes. So yeah, pretty neat, nice design. Of course you got the chest here, this is where the Ember Stone is. Of course you got the arms here. Of course got some more metallic purple. So right there on the forearms, like the biceps. So, and of course here's the most detail being the skirt, the tentacle skirt. And speaking of tentacles, the ones I've shown off before the transformation, that these can actually function as 2 separate arms. You can see there's holes in the back, which, yes, you can tell they look like it's just tentacles just being curled up. So, which you could tell the way it's molded. So, yeah. Yes, you can actually make it hold something, which, yes, you can actually do that. So, you can make them hold like multiple weapons if you wish. And of course, there's a tentacle skirt. And of course, you can tell here are the legs, which are hidden. Which, by the way, I did forget to point out that the if you look at it from the front, if you look at the legs from the front, it's actually translucent plastic. But thankfully, it's actually held up by solid plastic. So it's actually over solid plastic. So I'm glad that the legs are not entirely translucent plastic, clear plastic, because there would have been complaints of this breaking. Think about it. If they chose that route, the whole clear plastic route with the whole legs thing, there would have been complaints. So I'm glad it's like a mix of the two kinds of plastic, which I do give Hasbro that. So it's pretty cool. Now, articulation. Head's a bit limited because of the way, how you transform it, but it can look side to side, and you can look up and down, even though this is for transformation, but you can do that. The arms can swing all the way around. Of course, they could turn from the shoulder here. They could swing out to the side. You could do this if you want, but that's, again, transformation. Got a bicep swivel here, which is on a double mushroom peg. Elbow joint, and of course, I did point out before the wrist joint, which you can rotate, which... Oh, mine's a bit tight, but there you go. And of course, the tentacle arms do, of course, pose as well. Again, transformation joints, but you can do that. And of course, yes, you can already tell this has a waist rotation. So, yep. Now the legs, of course, this requires some work because because of the tentacle skirts being in the way, especially these arms here. But I'll show off one of them. So they can go forward. Those can go backward. Or yeah, they can go forward and go backward. They can swing out to the side. They could twist from the knees. Of course, they could bend at the knee, and of course, there is an ankle rocker here. So yeah, you can get this kind of some poses. You just have to you have to fiddle around with the skirt pieces really. So yeah, that's pretty cool. Now, of course, you can interact with any accessory. In this case, we'll do the Ember Stone. Let's push that out and get that into its hand. Which you can do that, so there you go. Goes in his hand quite nicely, and there you go. Very cool. And of course, you can plug it into his tentacle arm, if you will, which you can do that as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna go and put this back. And yes, you can actually, if you want to, if you have trouble open up the cockpit, you can actually just take the Ember Stone and pull this back, and then put this back in, which is convenient, I will safely say. So yeah, pretty cool. Oh, I forgot to point out the cockpit is also detailed as well. So you got the little buttons here, got the little levers here. Yeah, I forgot to point that out. So yeah, of course, even parts of the seat. So yeah, I forgot to point that out. So there you go. That is it for Quintus Prime. This concludes my review of Quintus Prime. So overall, if you have your goal of collecting of all 13 primes from Age of the Primes, then go ahead and get this figure. just be wary. The deluxe class figures are like around $30 now instead of like in the 20s because inflation and stuff like that, and even tariffs. So yeah, I mean this guy looks great. I mean he doesn't do much of anything except from if you want to make him part of your Primes collection if you wish. But I do appreciate he's got the Emberstone going on, and of course I do appreciate the whole how they managed to do the whole tentacle skirt thing. I mean they're not. It's pretty cool to actually mold it individually, which I do appreciate that, which is again amazing. I'll safely say. And I do like the fact that the legs here are actually it's basically translucent plastic over, or it's like clear plastic over solid plastic instead of being all clear plastic. So I do appreciate Hasbro for that. So yeah. I know Poison's got like he's cheering, but just want to show off the arms, similar to how going off his Covenant Primus appearance. So yeah. Oh, I forgot to talk about what the Emberstone does. It accelerates like biological forms. It accelerates. It speeds up the process of biological matter or life forms. So yeah, that's what it does. It's like a seed. Oh, by the way, I forgot to point this out. The design of the Emberstone itself is supposed to be based off of his Earthspark the one for the Earthspark cartoon. But it's just done like in translucent yellow, right? Because in the Earthspark cartoon, this was blue. So yeah, and it does like a whole rocky, bumpy appearance, which that's retained. So yeah. So yeah, that's all I got to say about Quintus Prime. I feel like so that's it for Quintus Prime, I should say. I mean, I'd recommend this if you want to complete your, take another step in your complete part of your 13 Primes collection, like I've been doing. So yeah. So yeah, I do recommend picking this guy up. So to next time, I'm going to do another Transformers Age of the Primes video. We're going to take a look at the Leader Class Onyx Prime. So thank you for watching. Like what you saw, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell connects with. If you want to follow my Twitter and like my Facebook page, links in the description below. And with that, I will catch you next time.